Believe it or not, this collection of wires and oblongs actually makes for a more minimal approach to writing and recording more traditional music, making it easier and the best synth you can buy if your goals are actually making music. And I should know, been the only pop writer in existence, probably. Looking at it, you'd probably think the opposite, wouldn't you? But I'm going to give you 5 reasons I believe that you're friggin' wrong, including one at the end that for me is the most important, thus proving the famous saying that you shouldn't judge an oblong by the ridiculous collection of wires that it has on the outside, exposed and making things appear incredibly difficult to... You know the saying, I don't need to tell you it. So number 1, I believe that it increases concentration while you're writing, and focus is the driving factor to encourage outcome. I don't know if I just came up with that, but if I did, that was pretty freaking good, wasn't it? If you imagine that you're going shopping for a second, writing a shopping list allows for the process to run far more efficiently, and you come home with what you needed. If you go at it like a nutter and freestyle it all hungry, like I normally do, then you just end up with a load of chocolate and packs of condoms, which is great for the night time, but not for the next morning when you're a shadow of your former self and you just need some sustenance. I'm digressing, which I think proves that I need any help that I can get on the old concentration front. By having to concentrate on the patch in advance and plan ahead, you can then spend time just lost in the confectionery aisle of the creative process until you emerge with sweet, sweet musical goodies. It's almost like a to-do list in some ways, which I think helps with fatigue. And if you're coming home from work all tired and you only have a small amount of energy left in the tank, then you can channel it correctly, and energy is finite, isn't it? So this helps. Itchy nose. Number 2, next up, by limiting the sounds, it makes for easier decisions, especially in the production stage. Guess how many frigging kicks and snare sounds I have here? 1 of each, 2 total. Maths, or math if you're American. Guess how many Splice has? 60 billion. That's true, probably. I don't know. Have you heard of doom scrolling? People say it's scrolling through posts or short form videos on social media, and they make me sick. You don't know doom scrolling until it's 3 a.m. and you're 400 pages into your sound library trying to find the perfect tambourine shot to layer on every 4th snare in the 2nd chorus to make it more dynamically appealing than the first. You just don't know. And though that sounds like a total exaggeration, and I've told myself a million times to stop exaggerating, if you've ever been there, then you know that it's the level of obsession that you can get to over something that realistically doesn't make as much difference as I think we give it credit for. I've taken all that out of my workflow and the results are amazing, but not just the drums, everything. 1 analog bass sound, 1 lead sound, a couple of wavetables. I've even limited the effects, and all those things are contributing to just more output and probably better songs, ultimately. It's not to say that I don't use the DAW still, I do, but by that point I'm using it for mixing more than writing and production. And you could think it would make everything sound a bit samey, but then you only have to look at bands like Cigarettes After Sex, and they're about 200 in the world or something on Spotify, and every song is pretty much made up of the exact same instrumentation. There's just drums, bass, guitar, and they're all a very similar sound as well. Even the vocal sound is really consistent. And I think it just highlights to me, again, that the casual listener just wants a well-balanced mix of a well-written song. Number 3, it's all in a relatively small footprint, even the larger systems comparatively to other hardware solutions. And though you could argue it's a point for software here, it achieves it without losing any of that tactile workflow that comes with the outboard gear and with synths. Plus, with software, which again I'm not against before all the Ben Brigade turn up to moan at me, with software you still end up with this limitless choice and it becomes too easy to just lean on soulless presets again. Plus, a case looks amazing and it's really inspiring in itself, that, which helps you feel more inclined to create, in my opinion. There's something about physical buttons as well. I mean, if you ask our lass, she'll tell you I push metaphorical buttons too, but physical ones are even better. Like at a crossing, when it's clear to cross and you know you shouldn't press the button, and even your mum tells you that it's illegal, but you can't resist, so you press it and then you cross, and then the cars approach and they have to stop, but you're already down the street, knowing that you just did something very naughty. It's that, but with music. Number 4, it's like the entire band is plugged in and ready to multi-track all at once and all the time. And if you've ever played in a band or been involved in a studio session, you'll probably understand that the time it takes to multi-track and get takes of everyone is what's the most time consuming. Now that said, that experience is amazing and I would give up years of my life doing that. But it takes a lot of organisation, space, money, and ultimately it doesn't lead to as many songs as when it's just me, the modular, my guitar and vocal. So it's about priorities in some respects. I do miss everything that comes with being in a band, but equally, in terms of minimising a workflow and an approach, this achieves that 100% and it's so much cheaper. Don't forget to hit that like button. I'm just trying to make modular a little less scary and a little more sexy. Number 5. Probably the most satisfying thing and the most useful now that I make music alone is that it'll almost co-write with you. And this minimal approach, different to all the complex ones I've used in the past, actually helps in that manner because, you know, no other system that I've used will sort of write with you. And CV is like nothing else I've ever worked with in music. And it's very minimalistic and simplistic once you understand it. And you can quickly apply it to parameters around the system and it'll make things happen in the production and the performance that you simply just wouldn't have thought of or been able to achieve without it. And you can't even put a price on that. This, in and of itself, makes this minimal approach an absolute game changer. And it all starts with the modules you go for. So if you want to see some of what I've gone for, all you have to do is click the video on screen wherever it is now. Have you clicked it yet? Can I leave now? Well, if you're answering that, then obviously not, and I can't stick around here all day. I have songs to write and food shopping to go by without a list. So, cheers, bye.